has all of this awareness of leader health and the occasions of leader unhealth, in your take, has that undermined trust in the congregations especially, or what's been the impact?
Yeah, I think this issue of trust is one of the most important areas for the future. There's the Edelman Trust Index and a variety of different things that focus in on kind of public health. And I think trust in general is such an important currency to be thought through and to be carefully stewarded. And I do think that pastors have to be thinking about trust and credibility, which is, by the way, part of the argument about bivocational pastoring, right? Because you're, like, let's say you had a bivocational pastor, or you had lay people who you'd ordained in a kind of pastoral way. I know there's complicated things depending on your tradition to sort through. But when you think about the opportunity of having others, people who care about the mission of the church, who aren't paid when you ask for money, to be speaking up for the case to be made for fundraising, or the reason why financial accountability is so important, right? As we live in a radically transparent era where people are always trying to dig and see, what are they not telling me, right? And there's an undercurrent of skepticism. But I think there's important ways that we need to be thinking about trust. We're actually doing a big study on perceptions of Jesus, and we're actually finding that people have most trust in Scripture and in local church leaders to help tell them what to believe about Jesus. But they also have some amount of skepticism towards celebrity Christians and towards the algorithm, social media, and digital, even though those tend to be the places where they end up. It's sort of like you talked about earlier, this paradox between they actually do end up listening to celebrity Christians, and they do end up going to the algorithms for information about how to believe, what to believe. But they tell us they trust local leaders most. And so I do think this cultivating trust, thinking about what it means, realizing that our society today is always looking for the other shoe to drop, or for a reason not to believe that we might be really, really honest. It's not even that we're dishonest. There's something about this moment with the meme culture and that the images and pictures and sayings that are sort of small little bite size, usually humor, usually sort of a dark side of humor. There's something that I think has eroded our ability to believe those who are really earnest and well-meaning. There's actually, it's sort of like if you picture Michael Scott from The Office, it's like he was a very earnest character in that show, and nobody trusts him because, you're either working for corporate or you're working for yourself. And so I feel like pastors have this really challenging place today, especially with hybrid church, and you're webcasting your services, and you're trying to get the vibe just right to compel people towards certain actions, especially towards following Christ of their whole lives. And so we're really in an interesting and I think fun time to be experimenting and to be really taking an honest look at what does it mean to cultivate trust. And that's financial trust and relational trust, and trust that you have something to say to my parenting or to my relationships, trust that you might have something to say to my vocational life, my career, my purpose, trust that I could sacrifice on behalf of this community, and feel like that my belief in what it means to be part of this Christian story, part of what it means to be Christian, is actually going to matter. So I do think trust is such an important currency for our time today.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel for more finance, governance, and fundraising news and insights for your church or ministry.